Hey everyone, it's time for another Pathfinder adventure card game scenario. This is scenario 3.2, and we're in the Mausoleum. Alright, advancing the Blessings deck, we get a Blessing of the Ancients. First card in the Mausoleum is a Blessing of the Elements. And I want this card, it's a Dexterity 6, Intelligence. Okay, I'll go ahead and do my Intelligence. Alright, so I rolled an 8. I will acquire this card. The Mausoleum, it's going to be easier to defeat traits or cards that have the undead trait. I'm using the Blessing of the Elements to explore again. And I get this villain of this location, the Forgotten Pharaoh. It says here, when you examine this card, encounter it and ignore the Forgotten Pharaoh's power. That happens before you act. Okay, well I didn't examine this card. I just explored. So the next thing is, it says here, before you act, succeed at a stealth 13 check. Well, I don't have stealth. It's just a D4. I do have a Blessing of Abdar. I could do 2D4 for a total of 8. Use Ahmotep special ability to possibly bump me up to a 10. So I need a 13. Looking at my hand here. Okay, there's no way I'm going to win that check. So I'm not even going to bother to roll. I mean, just sure. Okay, there's my check. I rolled a 2. I could get it up to a 4. Okay, I don't know if you can see that too. There you go. Alright, so then this card is evaded. So it says here, when you examine this card, encounter it and ignore. Okay, so there's no way I can make this stealth check. So the only way I can defeat that card is if I get myself a way to explore. So we're going to have to explore during this deck or this adventure, which is really going to suck because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Just randomly shuffling up this the location deck. Okay, keeping my cards. Advancing the Blessings deck. Let's see what we get. Okay, we get a Blessing of the Ancients. Oh, sweet. So this card says, discard this card to examine the top card of your location deck. Then you may explore your location. That could be really, really powerful. Okay. So, let me see what we're going to do here. So, so examining, it's interesting. So I do want this card. I'm going to roll a D4 for my Divine. Cool. And I rolled a 4. Alright, so I don't know if you can see the 4 there. Trying a new light angle, seeing how it works. Well, that is awesome. So I get this card, which will allow me to examine cards. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard the Blessing of Abdar to explore my location. So still exploring. I want to get rid of some cards here. Okay, so I get the Holy Light spell. This spell is pretty awesome for a basic spell. For your combat check, discard to use your Divine skill plus 2d6. Well, it's Wisdom Divine 8. Okay, so wow, I don't have Wisdom or Divine. I have Wisdom d6 plus 1. So I rolled a 2. Alright, I don't acquire this card. I'm not going to worry too much about it. It gets banished. Advancing the Bless, or actually checking out my hand here. I got good cards in my hand, and I have 4. I got 4 staves, pretty ridiculous. Advancing the Blessings deck. Blessing of Nithis showing. Okay, we get a little doggy. Usually when I get these cards, the doggies, I'll rename them doggies. The dabbas run away. But this time, I have Wisdom d6 plus 1. So I rolled a 4 plus 1, so I have 5. I could recharge a card and get this ally, which I could then discard to explore the location. Well, since I have 4 staves in my hand, I'll go ahead and I will recharge a Frost Staff in order to acquire this boon. And then I will use its power. I will discard it to explore the location. And we get, a Blessing of Matt. I really like this card. It's very intriguing. Okay, it's Divine 6, which I don't have. Well, I have D4 or Constitution. I'm going to go ahead and just do the D4. I have the Blessing of the Ancients, but I want to keep that. Blessing of the Ancients, Blessing of Matt. It's just going to be straight up D4. Hey, sweet. So I rolled a 4. No, okay, so there's a 4. I can actually recharge a card, which I will. I'm going to recharge I'll recharge the Flame Staff so that I get the Blessing of that. It's cool, it's because it's a Blessing 2. I can go ahead and use that to modify die rolls. Okay, I'm going to reset my hand. I'm going to advance the Blessings deck. Okay, we get Augury. Okay, discard this card to choose the top card and examine the top 3 cards. Or choose a card type and examine. Okay, so it's more examining the top 3 cards of your location deck. Well, I could actually use this. Huh, so it's only intelligence 6. I'm going to go for it. I have the Blessing of Matt. Okay, I can, yeah, just, so intelligence check is D10. Alright, so I rolled a 6, and I needed a 6. That is sweet, so I get this spell. And what I'm going to do, so I can discard this card to choose a type of card and examine the top 3 cards of your location deck, if there are any cards of the chosen type. So I guess I can choose villains. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, so there's 4 cards left in the location deck. My odds of getting the villain, if there are any cards of the chosen type, set them aside, return the remaining cards to the deck, shuffle it, and put the cards you set aside together in any order on the top or bottom of the deck. Cool. So then, after playing this card, so basically it's just going to let me examine cards. Then I can put them aside and put them on the top or bottom of the deck. Okay, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to discard this card. I'm going to choose villains. So I get the Burglar's Bracers, I get a villain, and I get the Magnus Rare. So none of these have any when you examine. I mean, the Forgotten Pharaoh has a when you examine, but encounter it. So it says when you examine this card. I don't know if you examine it. So it says here, I'm going to go ahead and go. It's hard to tell which card goes first, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say that if there are any cards of the chosen type, which is the Forgotten Pharaoh, I set them aside, return the remaining cards to the deck, shuffle it, then put this card together. And so, okay, so I can put this card on the top of the deck. These cards are getting shuffled back into the location deck. Alright, like so. Randomly determine which card is on top because that's just what I do. Okay, the Forgotten Pharaoh goes to the top of the deck. I am now going to roll to see if I recharge this card. I have Arcane D10. Okay, so I rolled a 7, so I get this card recharged. And now I'm going to reset my hand. I know it's the Forgotten Pharaoh. I have a Blessing of the Ancients, which will allow me to examine the top card of my location. Then I can encounter it. So the question is I need some cards that are going to help me defeat that. So I'm going to toss these 2 cards. I'm going to reset my hand to 7 cards. Get some options here. Advancing the Blessings deck. For my first location, I get a free exploration, but I'm going to pass on my free exploration. Then I'm going to use Blessing of the Ancients, and I'm going to examine this card. Oh, Oh, when you examine this card, encounter it, and ignore the Forgotten Pharaoh's power. That happens before you act. So now you can go straight into a combat check. Combat 24 or Divine Diplomacy 16. Okay, let's just go straight to combat. What I have is I have I have a lot of good stuff here. I got the Explorer's Staff, so I can do my Strength, which is D8 plus a D6, plus I can discard it for another D6. Then what I can do is I can recharge the Anubis Staff in my hand to add a D8 So adding a D8 to this. Then I can, so I still got a Blessed of Matt. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll these dice. I get to add a total of, I have a melee plus 2, so adding melee plus 2. Alright, so I rolled a 5, 8, and 8, so 16, and 4 is 20. So I got 20. My melee bonus is plus 2, so I get a 22. And then I can go ahead and use Ahmotep's special power to recharge a card in order to add another plus 2, so I get the 24. That is pretty sweet. So this villain is defeated. That means I automatically close the location. Okay, pretty interesting. I mean, if I didn't have ways to examine this card, there's no way Ahmotep would have made that Stealth 13 check. Okay, but as it is, the location is closed. And moving on to the reward. This scenario's reward is a card feat, and we also get this trader. So the card feat, that's pretty cool because let's go ahead and we'll take a look at Ahmotep's deck here. We will widen this out. It's a little glare here, like I say, I'm trying. So I get this trader. I might meet this trader. We'll see. Let me go ahead and alter some stuff here. Okay. Wow, a lot of more glare there. Trying to make it better. But let's go ahead and look at Ahmotep's deck really quick. Let's see. She did acquire the Blessing of Matt, which is really cool. So that there, an item, spell, item, item. So a blessing, acid jet. That ally, we get the shocking scimitar, which I stated I was going to get. Ally, blessing of Ra. Blessing. So there's the blessing of Matt, which is going to be really cool because I can use that to trade with a trader. So so I get that little doggy as an ally. Okay, so looking at the deck really quick, so I get I can trade a scimitar if I wanted to, because it's level 2 or 3. I got a level 2 lightning bolt here, so I could. There's a chance I could get a level 3 spell. That's level 1. I could trade the Ubashi serpent there, or willing servant. So, and let's see what I got for allies. Okay, I could trade this. So all these things that I'm showing you are like at the very top are like level 2, right? So I have lots of good, so I can go ahead and just trade that blessing. So now that I have this trader, I can go visit a trader to get a new ally. I could get myself a possible level 3 ally, a level 3 spell, a level 3 item, a level 3 weapon. Let's see, I think I'm going to go ahead. I can do Smiths of Wati, the Falsing Deke. I can do the guy with items. I could do Charizard. I could get myself an armor. So I got a lot of cool options here. So she says that I can get items that have the magic trait. I think I'm just going to go for spells. I'm going to try to get myself a better spell, because if I get a better spell, I'm going to choose a card feat for spells, because as it is, I'm always getting a whole bunch of stabs in my hand. It'd be cool if I got myself some better spell options. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Rolling randomly for spells here. Okay, so I get a mist form, or I get corrosion. Okay, so obviously we are meeting the guy who's trading spells, which is good old Hayden Hopper. So I wanted a little bit more of an offensive. Let me see, I'll just go ahead and get in there a little more so you can read those spells. Technical difficulties. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, so those are the two options there. Mistform Corrosion. I mean, Mistform is pretty cool. I can discard to add 2 dice to any check to defeat a barrier that has an obstacle or trap trait. That could be very useful. Corrosion, that also is good for barriers. Good for monsters. Okay, well, I really don't know which spell I'm going to keep. I think I'm going to keep one of them. and I'll probably end up trading the Blessing of Matt and an item perhaps for this. So I will let you know about my selection, and I usually don't say anything about, oh, leave a comment, but just so everyone knows, I am working on the lighting situation. I know there's a little glare here, but yeah, you can let me know how to improve that. But everything's a work in progress. So yeah, pretty interesting scenario. Hope you enjoyed watching it, and I'll have another scenario up here shortly. All right, thanks.